One, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of The Show with No Name on Vaughn Radio, where English is exciting. And folks, we're a bit traditional around here, and we like to start things off with a bang. Vamos a empezar a lo grande. So everybody buckle up because it's time for liftoff.
T-minus 10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3. Come on.
2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Here we go, folks.
Liftoff.
Hold on tight.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
This is going to be an exciting adventure. And we are off.
Ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. It's the show. Let's go.
That's right, amigos. That's right. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here with us once again. As always, I love being here with my amigos, having fun. And as we get started, I'm going to kick off with a nice round of applause for all of you. Seriously. Keep up the wonderful work. I'm proud of all of you. I've seen all of you make progress. Some of you, like Vero, who just joined us, I've been watching you make progress for over a decade, and it's actually one of the most rewarding parts of my job. Rewarding is gratificante. It's one of the most rewarding parts of my job. So keep up the great work. Seriously, seriously. You guys are not just having fun here and making friends, but I believe you guys are working on the magic. That's right, la magia, the magic that comes with learning, enriching yourselves, and playing with us. So, folks, we've got a great show for you today. Next week, we've got a weird week, but I will be doing live shows on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So those of you who live in Spain, you know next week is a weird week. Some people have the whole week off. I don't know, maybe even some people at Vaughn Radio, they have the whole week off. I don't know everybody's schedule. I will be doing live shows on December 5th, 7th, and 9th. So you're going to get 3 live shows during our holiday week. Some of you might just have 2 days off like me. I have I have Tuesday and Thursday off. So those days there won't be a live show, but always remember, there's always content streaming on Vaughn. So you can join us any day via our Vaughn Radio app, or you can download our podcasts. And speaking of, you guys know I have my own weekly podcast. It's called For Your English. Stay tuned, because all throughout December, I'm going to be releasing never before heard bonus episodes. So tons of great content you'll get here on Vaughn Radio. Also, another thing, make sure you're following us on social media, because if you're following us, you're going to get classes there too. I post mini videos every day. I know all my friends, all the Vaughn Radio presenters are constantly sharing posts with translations and tons of really good content. And I want to make sure you guys are getting that. That's why we've created our Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. That's right, amigos. That's right. It is our Pop Quiz only on the show with no name. And this is where I take some content from one of the Vaughn radio presenters and I share it with you guys. Oh, and speaking of challenges, remember I told you guys that I was going to tell you as soon as I knew the next trivia night. So if you could make it, that would be great. Well, we've got a date, folks. It's January 11th. That'll be the first Vaughn Radio Trivia Night of 2023, and it's going to be hosted by none other than, me encanta esto, en español me encanta como se dice esto, el mismísimo, none other than, you know what, I think we need a drum roll, none other than... our great friend Fitz. That's right. So mark your calendars now, January 11th, 2023. Who said that you didn't have plans in the new year? You already do. We'll see you at Roll Madrid with my great buddy Fitz. He is a wonderful teacher, and he is a fountain of knowledge. The guy knows a lot about a lot of stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll definitely be there. And I'm sure the rest of the Vaughn radio presenters will be there as well. So, folks, also Christmas shopping. I hate to be that person reminding you, nagging you. Oh, yeah, you got to remember. But do it now. Don't put it off. No esperes. Go to Vaughn Tienda right now and pick something up for a family member or maybe one of your classmates. Wouldn't that be an awesome gift? You know, if you guys said, hey, I thought you could use this. I know you're working on, hey, just giving you some gift ideas. Remember, all that is over at vaughntienda.com. If you want information about our courses, about all the different things we have available in the Vaughn sphere, La Esfera Vaughan, then you're going to want to go over to grupovaughn.com. But again, if you're following us on social media, then you'll be in the know, enterado. And that's a weird one because si dices con doble L, R es enterrados. Isn't that like buried? Well, hey, I know a lot of Americans who can't roll their R's, so they would say enterados, the same as enterrados. Ooh, these are difficult words for us to say these. And me, I've been rolling my R's, como se dice el perro. That R, not every American knows how to make that sound. So that's a very Spanish sound, that rolling of the R. I like it. I think it's cool. And I think there have been a few times in my life where I got lucky because of it. What's your name? You know, I'm Alberto from España. You're a little bit, I put a little extra in there, and they're just like, whoa, a little extra pizzazz. ¿Cómo se dice pizzazz? Me he metido yo ahí. Pero vaya palabrón, pizzazz. Es pizza con dos zetas al final. Pizzazz, energía, vigor, vitalidad, chispa, un poco de estilo, a little pizzazz. These are words you'll learn here on the show with no name. All right, well, folks, we have so much to do. Let's take a look at our pop quiz. Today's pop quiz is sponsored by an OG. What? An OG. Well, what does that mean? An original gangster. Yeah, si queremos decir alguien de la vieja escuela, alguien que lleva tanto tiempo haciéndolo, that when a lot of times we jokingly say, He's an OG, an original gangster. I'm talking about none other than my buddy Dave Boys and his program, The Salad.
The Salad. Fun, informative, interactive radio. One, two, three, oh, welcome to The Salad. Thanks for listening today. I really have a lot of things that I would like to say. It's a funny, informative radio show featuring lots of things you really want to know. So it's time to get on with the show. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, it's time to get on with the show. Woo-hoo-hoo. It's time to get on with the show. So let's go.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, bring on the salad.
The riff, man. That is Dave talking about pizzazz. Dave is a guy who is full of pizzazz. His program is as well, and it's called The Salad. And Dave teaches you real English. The English we are using on a day-to-day basis. The English you're going to hear in movies and songs, like all of us, guys. I think that's one thing here at Vaughn. We're not just teaching you English. We're teaching you current English, actual, what's being used right now. In fact, when I teach you guys something that's a bit antiquated, I tell you that. I'm like, we usually say this more jokingly because it's antiquated, right? Because as we always mention here on the show, words have weight. No, las palabras pesan y no todos pesan igual, right? It's not the same to call somebody an idiot as to say, well, he's a little short-sighted. No ve más lejos. It's different. Not the same to say somebody's fat than big-boned. Okay, I think now we even say big-boned jokingly because, come on. All right, so here is Dave's translation. If you are listening to The Salad, then you've got an advantage. If you follow Dave on social media, then you've got an advantage. Follow all of us on social media, and you'll be learning tons of different things every day. So here it is. Dave says, piénsalo bien. Okay? Piénsalo bien. Piénsalo detenidamente. Sopésalo. I like that one, sopesar. Okay? That would be how we would say this. To consider something fully. Okay? To really, really consider it. So sopésalo o piénsalo bien. And the second part is antes de apuntarte para el ejército. Okay? That's some really good advice too, Dave. Well, I don't know if I told you guys. I almost, no puedo decir el verbo, me lo tenéis que dar vosotros. But when I was in high school, my dad can confirm this. My dad's here with me. Do you remember, Dad, when that Marine got my number? Literally. Like, so he got my phone number, but he also got my number, me fichó. And he's like, you want to be a Marine? And I showed a little interest. And I think it took like 6 months to get this guy off my ass. So I almost became, but I think my parents even said, really? I mean, okay, we understand you want to be more disciplined, but real, like, you know what, that discipline? And I was like, yeah, it's not for me. And you know what? I've never liked the idea of war or violence or anything, you know? So, but can you imagine me? Yes, sir. No way, Jose. So, piénsalo bien antes de apuntarte para el ejército. Let's go on over to our chat room where we've got our amigos learning English, laughing, having fun, as we always do. Again, thank you guys for learning English with us here on the show with no name and here on Vaughn Radio. Vaughn Radio. Checking in, we've got Vero, who says, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning to you, Vero. Always lovely to hear from you. There's my dad. What's up? He says, good morning, Alberto, friends and family. Greetings from Greenwood Lake, New York, New York, New York. That's how they pronounce it, New York. Where you from? I'm from New York, New York. Hey, ask a New Yorker to tell you where they're from. You want to have a talk and a coffee back in New York? Hey. Marta says, good morning. It's Friday. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get it on. Monse says, morning, pals. Let's rock this Friday. ¿Es verdad? ¿Decimos Friday o Friday? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's German. He says, good morning, one and all. How's it hanging? ¿Cómo va la cosa, mariposa? How's it hanging? Let's see. Some more people participating. Nihad says, what's poppin', bro? Oh, that's totally native, Nihad. ¿Qué ocurre? ¿Qué me cuentas? What's poppin'? Wow. You guys sound like little natives over here. German says, good morning, one and all. I think I just read that one. Lupe says, morning, friends. Ready to rock. Glad to hear it. There's Born to Iron Man says, morning, folks. TGIF. Born to Iron Man, if you don't mind, I'm going to add an F. TGIFF. Thank God it's Friday. Oh, yeah. And next week's going to be a weird week, but we'll be here. All right. Let's see. We've got some people taking a stab at today's pop quiz. The first person to participate, Born to Iron Man. And ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Born to Iron Man. Hang on. Pero por eso hay que hacerlo en frases completas. Iron Man, we just got to change 2 words there. Think it over en vez de think over it. Think it over. Es frase hecha. The structure, but now you know, right? So think over it, maybe in Britain, but in the States, we would always say, think it over before signing up for the army. Absolutely. Or enlisting, que se puede decir también con lo que es la mili. So think over it, mejor think it over. Think it over. And over and over. Piénsalo así, el over es de nuevo y de nuevo, no, hasta que lo has pensado todo. What you're trying to do is think it thoroughly, concienzudamente. You're trying to think of all the possible outcomes if you make a decision. If I do this, well, then this, and this could happen, right? And you have to do that. If you're running a business, you have to do that if you're running a family, whatever, right? Weigh the options. Hablando de sopesar. Think over it. But I like it. Think it over and sign up for the army, says Born to Iron Man. Let's see what German has to say. German says, mull it over. Before enrolling, solo te falta el in, German. But I love it. Totally native. Mull it over. M-U-L-L. Mull it over before enrolling in the army. Guys, great. 2 answers so far. We had to make little tweaks, little adjustments, but excellent. My dad says craziness to the max. I think you're referring to the recruiter, right, Dad? Wasn't that crazy? I remember like having to hide in my house. I'm like, here, this guy's coming around the back of the house. You know, he was getting down in the trenches. No, I'm joking. Estaban las trincheras de mi casa. Nihad says, make a second thought before signing up for the army. Be careful with this one. I wouldn't say I would say give it a second thought or think it over. What about this one? Think it through. Esta nadie lo ha dicho todavía. Mull it over, think it through. Hasta el final, piénsalo. Piénsalo entero. Right? Think it through. And everybody got the second part before signing up for, enlisting in, enrolling in. So what I think about, the only reason I tell you, Nihad, when you say second thoughts in English, I think of estoy dudando ahora. So initially, I said I was going to do this. But you know what? Now I've thought it over and I'm having second thoughts. Estoy dudando. Mi opinión original. So just be careful with that one. It could be a bit confusing. All right, let's see. Monse says, think that straight before enlisting in the army. I wouldn't say think that straight, but maybe it's English or something. That doesn't sound familiar to me, Monse, to think that straight. I would say think it through, think it over, mull it over. Let's see. We've got Carlos. He says, TGIF, everyone. Troopers. I love that word, a trooper. Madero, but also a trooper is alguien que se apunta, lo que sea. You're a trooper. Mull it over before joining the army. Perfecto, Carlos. Mull it over. I love that you guys know that phrasal verb. And he's using another, okay, before enlisting, before signing up for, before joining. Vemos que joining no usa. ¿Ves? No solo tenemos que ver los verbos, pero ¿qué le acompaña? En el joining, nada. Joining the army, directamente. Carlos, great. Wonderful usage. Good morning to you, too. All right. Let's see. Anybody else? All right. Well, guys, I've got to say, we just looked at a lot of different ways to say the same thing. I want to clear up a few words really quickly. All right. I want you guys, we're going to do a little quiz, but this is a quiz I want you to do aloud, en voz alta. I want you to tell me how to say the word pensé o pensamiento. How would you say that? Pensé, el pasado, o pensamiento? Did you say thought? Okay, good. Thought. And aunque? How do we say aunque? Eso ya no es thought. I thought you knew this one. Okay, Born to Iron Man, you're writing them, that's good, but remember, the thing is, are you pronouncing them correctly? So if you said thought, good job. The second one, though, aunque. Say them with me. Aunque, though. Even though I called her, she didn't answer. Okay? The next one, Born to Iron Man, I don't know what list you're doing here. Presta atención a mi lista, porque si no nos vamos a liar. Okay? O me voy a liar yo, si no me acuerdo cuál he dicho. So, pensar, pensé, thought, aunque, though, or although. Concienzudo, I said it before. I didn't do it on purpose. Concienzudo is thorough. Say it with me. Thorough. Thorough. Okay? Another one. A través de. We also said it before. How do you say this one? Through. Que suena exactamente como el pasado de lancé, de lanzar, ¿no? I threw the ball through the window. Okay? That's a good way to remember that one. Through. Y duro? How would we say duro? We looked at this one. I think we've looked at it many times. That's tough. Tough. Whoa. Whoa. All right, so let's go through them. Otra vez, me importa más cómo lo dices en este ejercicio, okay? So, the first one that we looked at, pensé, is, vamos a ponerlo en una frase, pensé que le llamaste. I thought you called her. I thought, muy importante, se usa este verbo muchísimo. I just had a thought, tuve un pensamiento. También es pensamiento. Aunque, even though, although you know the answer, hold off. Though, although, even though. Por favor, repite esto en voz alta, because if you're not repeating it, well, I'm just wasting my breath here. Okay, the next one. The next one is concienzudo. I love using that one in Spanish. I throw it around. Concienzudo is thorough. Vamos a ponerlo en una frase. He did a thorough investigation. Hizo una investigación en profundidad. Your exam or your report, tu informe, was very thorough, very complete, thorough. The next one was the preposition, a través de, do you remember? Suena igual que lancé. ¿Cómo dirías lancé la pelota por la ventana? I threw the ball through the window. And the last one, duro, que estas palabras, how would we say, estas palabras son duras? How would we say that? These words are tough. Tough. Now, if you had difficulty, if you made a mistake pronouncing any of those words, write it down. Write down the word the way it's supposed to be spelled, and then write down the way it sounds, because it's the only way you're going to remember it, right? Because if you look at it and you don't write the pronunciation, you could go back to it and say, ¿Cómo era esto? So it's really important, because we can't remember the way something's pronounced, that we write it down. And if you don't know the phonetic alphabet, no problem. Write it down in your own personal phonetic alphabet. Guys, we have to go to a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. It's the Show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, guys, before our show, we've got the one and only Fitz, who will be hosting our trivia night on January 11th, 2023 at Roll Madrid. After that, we've got Jules Linares after this show today and her program, Let's Get Random. Lots of great programs. Oh, and don't forget, since we're smack dab in the middle of the World Cup, well, you can listen to Speaking Football, right? How do we say I don't even know how to say it in Spanish. Se han clasificado, that's the word. They are qualified. That's right. So what countries have qualified for the World Cup? Well, the United States, I know, is in there. Congrats to the United States. Spain as well. Oh, and don't forget about our amigos in Poland as well. Be interesting to see what happens next in the World Cup. I'm sure Ruben and Tommy will have a lot to say about it on today's Speaking Football. So, my amigos, welcome back to the second part of today's show. We've got so much to do, so let's get right back into it with today's Say What? Say what? What? That's right, amigos. That's right. It's the Say What soundbite. Oh, and really quickly, guys, I got some news from Rob. As you guys know, Rob Grams, aside from being a very talented radio presenter, guitar player, painter. He's a guy who does a little bit of everything. He also runs the radio station, and he has reported that Vaughn Radio has grown once again this past year. So the only way we continue to grow is by you guys being our ambassadors. That's right. You guys are our ambassadors. You guys are the ones, when people see you, not just speaking English, but they see that you're not scared of it, that you're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to understand everything, but I got most of it here, you know? Then they'll say, well, how did you get to that? And you know, well, Vaughn Radio. And that's where, you know, that part's easy. You're just like, oh yeah, my teachers, you know what I mean? I got to thank Kyle Miller and all my teachers. And as I always tell every student, you got to thank yourself. It's like the other day, Snoop Dogg came out in an interview. He goes, I want to thank me. Yeah, I want to thank me for not taking days off. I want to thank me for all the hard work I've put in. And I want to thank me for, you know, and part of it is, of course, you. A big part, I think major part of it. You know, the teacher, I can only bring you so far. The expression in English is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can tell you a million times till I'm blue in the face. Hasta más no poder. Till I'm blue in the face, I can tell you, you know, repeat the vocabulary aloud, repeat those words aloud. If you don't do it, I can't do it. I'm not going to go to your house unless you got some food there. Then I'm coming. And you don't even have to tell me. I'll follow my nose like in the cartoons. All right, well, let's listen to today's Say What soundbite. As always, I'm going to play this clip for you 4 times. This is a famous person, very famous person, speaking English, and I want you guys to tell me what's going on. I want you to tell me the deal. Here it is, the Say What soundbite for the first time.
I just care about people and the way they have to dress. I think there is a part of education in my work. You have to understand, to believe, and to communicate to the people what you think, what is your philosophy.
Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first listen of today's Say What soundbite. In just a moment, we will play it for you a second time, and then I'd love to hear what you guys heard. Okay? All right, give you another 30 seconds. Everybody got it? Okay, this is the second listen of today's Say What soundbite. Write down as much as you possibly can.
I just care about people and the way they have to dress. I think there is a part of education in my work. You have to understand, to believe, and to communicate to the people what you think, what is your philosophy.
All right, there we go, folks. There we go. That was the second listen of today's Say What soundbite. You'll hear it another 2 times in the third and fourth parts of the show, respectively. So let's go on over to our chat room and see if we've got anybody participating in the Say What soundbite. Let's see. There's ESD, Mr. Positivity. And he says, good morning, ladies and germs. I use that one a lot. That's funny. That's very native. Ladies and germs. Señoras y gérmenes. Nice one. Hey, this is a real laugh there. That's cool. Good morning, ladies and germs. Let's have a great day and a great weekend for everyone. LOL. JK. Germs. Oh, man, that's a totally native. ESD, you got some native stuff over there, huh? All of you coming at me with native stuff today, huh? Born to Iron Man says congrats to all of you. Oh, yeah, and Born to Iron Man, you're one of the leaders here. Hey, I'm not just my opinion here. Let's see, Monse says, participating in today's Say What soundbite, she says, by the context, I'll say it's an Italian designer or something like that. And he's talking about his job and what fashion means, con ese, Monse, what fashion means to him. Absolutely. Solo te falta una S. I like how you capitalized Italian. I'd say A, it's an awesome guess. And B, let's follow that line there. She knows what she's talking about. Just give me that S in means and we got it. Elena says it's definitely, I can't speak. I'm a teacher and I can't speak. Well, I get tongue-tied. I can speak for hours. Trust me. Ask my wife. She's like, aren't you done with the radio show? Shut up. I'm joking. She says it's definitely a non-native speaker commenting about fashion and how much he cares about it. Wonderful, Elena. Short and sweet. Cortito y al grano. But I think you said everything you needed to say. I think a lot of people might even know who this designer is. I mean, there are a lot of, let's put it this way, there are a lot of famous Italian designers, right? What'd you guys think of the Balenciaga campaign? Is that fun? This is what I told my wife. I said, okay, I understand some people have a twisted sense of humor, right? They make jokes again, like racist. I don't agree with those kind of things, but I understand comedy is also about, crossing lines. But as I told my wife, with torturing children and putting children in sadomasochistic, I mean, where's the funny part? Can somebody tell me the funny part there? Because I thought, like, if you're going to make a joke, it should be funny. I missed that part. So then it's just sick and twisted. Now, the good news is I don't have to boycott Balenciaga for child peddling. I can't afford them anyway. But I think it's disgusting. I mean, and the worst part is, I'm sure some of you work in advertising agencies. How many eyes saw that ad campaign and the many ad campaigns that now they deleted their Instagram account? So how many people saw those and said, oh, green light, I like it, I like it? Sick people. You should all be in prison. Exploiting children or even joking about it. What? Again, please, somebody tell me where the humor is. I'm sorry, but I feel strongly about this. Que tengo opinión muy fuerte sobre people who abuse children in any way. Because I feel like an adult, you can kind of defend yourself. A kid, So defending the defenseless. Yeah. You know what they call me? I'm Batman. I wish. Leonardo, speaking of superheroes, he says, I think he's a non-native English speaker who, in an interview, states that he cares about people and their education and also likes to communicate his philosophy. Wonderful. Leonardo, you are definitely an artist. Nihad, he says, I think it is a conference where a non-native man talking about his work, especially when it comes to the way people dress, and how he cares about the minimum details of everything, right? I always tell you what I say when people say, oh, that's just a minute detail. Minute es pequeñito. Se escribe igual que minute, pero se pronuncia minute. Oh, it's just a little minute detail. I always say, yeah, that's what made Van Gogh, Van Gogh. And that's what made, any artist who they are, the details, right? I never understood that. It's just a detail. Yeah, but you put those all together and you get the big thing. What makes Monet, Monet? What makes Van Gogh, Van Gogh? The details, right? And you guys are artists in your own right. All right, well, if nobody else has an opinion on today's Say What soundbite, I think we can move on to today's Spelling Bee. Reprogram system.
Spelling bee.
System overload.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
Overheat.
Spelling bee.
Implosion in 3, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, and 1. There we go, folks. It's our Spelling Bee here on the show with No Name. And as always, we're going to take a look at some words over here, a list of words. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the words really, really fast. Okay? Let's see. Let's do this because some of the words are capitalized and some aren't. So let's just capitalize let's just capitalize not every letter, but every first one, okay? And this way it's easier than me saying capital. Okay, so let's just, for the sake of the exercise today, just start everything with a capital letter, okay? All right. You're going to get 6 words. No surprise there. That's as always. I'm going to go really fast now when I spell these words, like literally Usain Bolt speed. And then the second time, I'm going to be really nice. All right. As always, the first round is for Super Show with No Namers. This is round 1. The first word is MEDIEVAL. The second word is CATHOLIC. The next one is CATHEDRAL. The fourth one is ILE space DE space LA space CITE. The fifth one is VIRGIN space MARY. And the last one is GOTHIC. Woo! Whoa, 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 whoa. That was fast. All right. So let's see if anybody was able to figure these out. I can give you guys a little clue over here. If you'd like a little clue, there's a clue for you. For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. For whom the bell tolls. Famous novel, famous song as well by Metallica. For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. Oh, what a great song. Oh, man. All right. Let's take a look over here and see what we've got. German giving us his take, su opinión, on the this horrible brand that, I mean, again, anybody who buys their clothes now, I think you're supporting a weird institution that allows weird things to happen. Illegal things, right? Those are illegal things. To exploit children, it's illegal, I think, in most countries. Now, whether it happens or not is another story, but it's illegal, okay? German says, the clothes brand you were talking about might as well be called Balenciaga, like after the demon they seem to worship. That's right, the Baal. I've heard that story. I looked into their name, and there's even on one of their tapes there, it's like yellow tape, like when they kill a body. And it says BAA, like that's not how it's spelled, but there are too many coincidences. Like it was obvious, they obviously, and it wasn't just one campaign. So I think we can all agree, whoever is running the show over at this company is a sick fuck, period. And I'm sure it's not just one person. As I said, you don't just release an ad campaign with child pornography on it. Now we're going to be taken off YouTube possibly just for saying that, but they're not. That's what I don't get. Why are they still like, shouldn't they be punished or sanctioned or anything? They just issue an apology for being completely disgusting and out of order. I don't know. Somebody please tell me where the humor is, because I'm not getting it. I don't think it's funny at all. Let's take a look. It looks like we might have a winner over here. Folks, please get, oh, no. A little mistake there, my amigo. Well, the good thing is you have a second round. Born to Iron Man, one letter was wrong. But you know what? If it was the second one, I'd say, all right, man, well, you're SOL. You're shit out of luck. No tienes mala suerte. But since I'm going to say them again, you guys will have a second chance. But Lupe doesn't need a second chance. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Lupe. Today's Spelling Bee champion. Awesome job, Lupe. And Chris Valrol as wow. And Chris gave us what they have in common. Wow. Let's get a nice round of applause. Lupe, Chris. And Born to Iron Man's like, okay, I found my mistake. All right, round 2. This is the second round of today's Spelling Bee, and this is for the general public. Okay, this is for everybody. Doesn't matter what level you are. The first word is MEDIEVAL. V-A-L. The second word is C-A-T-H-O-L-I-C. The third word is C-A-T-H-E-D-R-A-L. The fourth one is I-L-E space D-E space L-A space C-I-T-E. The fifth one is V-I-R-G-I-N space M-A-R-Y. And the last one is G-O-T-H-I-C. All right, there we go, my amigos. As Chris has pointed out, these are all words that have to do with Notre Dame. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Notre Dame. Remember, if you say Notre Dame, you're talking about a university in the United States. And remember, the character is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay, now when we talk about it, the real pronunciation is Notre Dame, but in the United States, we say Notre Dame. And I think it comes from the fact that we have a very famous university, which is, obviously Nuestra Señora, Nuestra Dama, right? I never thought of that. It took me many years to realize that. But, and also I remember when I went to Paris, I was like, they're like, this is Notre Dame. I'm like, the university? That's why it's important to travel. And you're like, no, man, this predates the university by like, centuries. Oh, man, what a beautiful, beautiful work of art, right? The Notre Dame Cathedral, Notre Dame. I'll say it the right way. I won't say it a la Americano from Louisiana. But wow, what a work of art. Just being around it, walking around the garden, around back. And it's located on, and pardon my French pronunciation here, Ile de la Cité. Ile de la Cité. I'm sure that's wrong. But I remember when I proposed to my wife, when I popped the question, como decimos, we stayed at a hotel right there. It was literally out of our window. We could see the Notre Dame, which is on the Ile de la Cité, which is that center island that's in the middle of the river there. And really, there's not much else on it. It's basically an island that has Notre Dame on it. And again, at night, I remember so many times that I've walked around it, but even going inside is incredible. Going up to the tower will blow your mind, right? With the gargoyles and everything. But just being around it, just being like walking down the river and seeing it in the background. And I remember one foggy morning, my wife and I took a walk and it was foggy and the sun was, it wasn't really it just looked amazing. I understand why so many people have painted this masterpiece. And so I chose some words that would be associated with this famous cathedral. And we'll take a look at that. The word cathedral is our third word. Why did I choose this topic? Well, why not? It's an interesting thing. And also today in the year 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of the French. And that was at the Notre Dame Cathedral. And I have a hunch. You get it? I have a hunch. Hunchback is el joroba, but to have a hunch is tener una corazonada. Well, I have a hunch you know the story, right? He lived in the bell tower up there, the hunchback, right? Oh, man, just I'm sure any of you who have been to Paris right now are there right now in your mind. And if you haven't, you're realizing, oh, wow, this place is really powerful. I'm not even religious, as you guys know. I'm a spiritual person. I grew up religious. I was a churchgoer most of my life. But this place, wow, you can feel the spirit there. It's amazing. And the first word is medieval. We pronounce it a little bit different. You say medieval. We say medieval, the medieval. The second one is Catholic in our spelling bee. Just be careful. I've heard people say Catholic, and it's not Catholic, it's Catholic. Are you Catholic? Are you Roman Catholic? Okay, es como la O no la pronunciamos. Catholic. Catholic. The third word, cathedral. I know it's a word that you'll recognize, but just careful with the pronunciation, right? Cathedral, not because you say catedral, we say cathedral. O sea, cambia el sonido vocal, hay un TH, y también cambia donde ponemos énfasis. So let's say this sentence. Catholics go to that cathedral, right? Because those are two words that students mispronounce. Speaking of mispronounced, the fourth word I'm sure I mispronounced. And before I said, pardon my French pronunciation. Pues si no digo la palabra pronunciation ahí, y digo solo pardon my French, it means I'm going to say a bad word or I've just said a bad word. So I'll give you an example. So if I'm going to say, you know what? He's a real, pardon my French, asshole. Okay, perdona por la palabrota. Que Dios me perdone. Pardon my French, we say. The fifth one, the Virgin Mary. Obviously, Notre Dame, our Dame, our Lady. They're referring to the Virgin Mary in the Catholic faith. La fe. You know the word faith, right? Because I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Oh, well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. And I know not everybody has got a body like me. Virgin Mary. Careful with the pronunciation there, too. No, it's not virgin. Virgin. Say it. It's got that V. No, virgin. No. Let's say this one. There's a statue of the Virgin Mary in his village. Son palabras que la gente suele pronunciar mal. Statue. There's a statue. There's a statue of the Virgin Mary. And what was the other word? Oh, in his village. No, village, village. Say that 5 times and see if you can say those words correctly. The Virgin Mary. And last is the word Gothic, which in English, it has an H in there, and we pronounce that H. Gothic, a Gothic cathedral. And I don't know about you guys, but it makes me want to go back to this wonderful city. I mean, Paris is one of those cities like Rome, where you can just roam. No. Donde puedes deambular. I mean, the whole city is beautiful. Just walking down, like I said, you don't have to go in to any buildings to enjoy the city. Just looking around the city is enough, at least for me. The city light, Paris. Remember, we don't say Paris, it's Paris, Paris. And the people who live in Paris are rude. Oh, I'm sorry, Parisians. Folks, we have to go to a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with tons more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with No Name. We are in the second half, third part, call it what you will. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you are learning some English with us. Just remember, you've got programs all day long. Also, if you follow us on social media, you'll have access to tons of content. And it's free. That's the greatest part, folks. You know, you can learn tons of stuff every day for free just by listening to Vaughn Radio. But if you follow us on social media, well, then you're taking it a step further. Un paso Más allá. All right, welcome back, my amigos. Great to have you here for the second half of today's show. And what are we going to start off with? I know. I think it's time for today's homophone.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
Show with no name. That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And as always, this is where we look at words that may or may not sound the same, and you guys have to tell me, A, if you're familiar with the words, what they are, and B, obviously, if they sound the same or if they're homophones or not. All right, now the first word I'm going to give you is a word I know we've looked at here on the show in the past. The word is these little things that are inside plants or fruits or vegetables, right? But they're also used to produce those, right? If we plant these in the ground and we water them and we give them sunlight, well, we'll get trees, we'll get plants, we'll get all kinds of things. The word in Spanish is semilla. Okay? Semilla. Okay? What else? It's also clasificación in deporte, in tennis. We'll take a look at that as well. It's used also in computing. So in IT, in lo que es, ¿cómo se llama? Informática, you say in Spanish. Okay? And it's got many other uses as well, but I think those are the most common ones right there. That's the first word, semilla. The second word is to give something over, okay? To say, here, I don't want it. It would be to ceder or renunciar in Spanish, right? To give something up and say, you know what? Here, you can take it. Ceder, renunciar, okay? That is today's homophones. Hopefully, you'll be able to figure out those two words and then tell us if those two words sound exactly the same or not. Also, let's listen to today's Say What soundbite here for the third time. Please write down what you hear.
I just care about people and the way they have to dress. I think there is a part of education in my work. You have to understand, to believe, and to communicate to the people what you think, what is your philosophy.
All right, folks, there you go. You'll hear that one more time. Hopefully, you'll be able to figure it out. All right, let's see. We've got Cris Valrol. She says, it's a really beautiful view. Wonderful Paris. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, great city. The only problem, the Parisians. Quasimodo, Chris says, of course. Quasimodo, that's his name, the hunchback of Notre Dame. Nihad says, Madrid is better than Paris. Okay, that's kind of a blanket statement, though, right? In what? I mean, I'm not defending Paris here, but better is a very subjective word, right? So I live in Madrid, so obviously I agree with you. But maybe you mean the football team? I don't know. That's a blanket statement, Nihad. Got to be careful with those statements there. I know I just said it too. I'm guilty. Soy culpable too. I just said all Parisians are rude. But isn't that true? I mean, does anybody disagree with that statement? Okay. All right. There's German participating in our in our homophone section. And the first word is semilla. Yes, that's correct. The second word is ceder or renunciar. And yes, that's correct, German. And German says the two words sound the same. All right. Let's see if your classmates agree. We've got Born to Iron Man, and he says that those two words sound the same. They sound alike, he says. Let's see. Anybody else? Nihad says the words are and and they aren't homophones. Oh, interesting. Chris says they are. So right now, German, Born to Iron Man, and Chris say that they are not, that they are homophones, excuse me. And Nihad says that they aren't homophones. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else want to participate before we give you the answer? All right. The first word is seed. 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 Okay? Semilla. I'll plant some tomato seeds, and hopefully next year we'll have some seedless tomatoes. Seedless. Sin semilla. Right? I like grapes, but sometimes the seeds get stuck in my teeth. Or what about those watermelon seeds? Right? So, what else? What else would we say? Seed. Roger was selected as a seed in the tournament. Clasificado, clasificación. We said before the word to qualify, right? They qualified for the next round. Seed. A lot of times too, we say in the States, my seed, my kid, mi semilla, my kids, my seeds. So I don't know. It doesn't just have the literal meaning of seed, right? We said also to sow the seeds, sembrar, right? Sowing the seeds of love, the seeds of love, sowing the seeds of love. Great song over there. And seed. I'm trying to think. Any other things come to mind besides pepitas? Okay, well, the second word is C-E-D-E, que es ceder sin la R. And how do we pronounce that one? Seed. So I'm going to say, tienes que ceder tus semillas. You have to seed your seeds. Do they sound the same? Absolutely. You have to seed your seeds. So great job to German, Born to Iron Man, and Chris, who nailed it. All right, let's take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner here in today's Say What soundbite, and we still have one more listen left to go. Please give it up for Monse. Great job, Monse. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, Nihad, okay, now you're going to elaborate because I don't know what you meant. I mean, okay, I agree, but, I don't know exactly what you meant. And he says, I was in Paris is a total mess. So when I was in Paris, mejor, it was a total mess in terms of cleaning and organizing. Oh, okay. So you meant as far as keeping the cleanliness of the city. Okay, cool. Yeah, New York, you're not going to like New York then. We call it the pretty, gritty city. It's dirty. New York is dirty. I remember coming home in New York and taking the wax out of my ears, and there was black shit in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Monta says, I agree with you about Paris, Nihad. Yeah, I think Paris has become less and less desirable. And I know they're having a lot of problems there with immigration, and I don't know. I don't know because I don't watch the news. I don't watch mainstream news. But things don't look too good there, but it is still the number one tourist destination in the world. So, the Eiffel Tower still impressive. It doesn't, it stinks that the city is going to hell, as we say, or going down the tubes, que va por el garete. But that's what happens too. You elect politicians who only care about money and they're not interested in people or workers' rights, and you get what you get there. So it's a shame. It really is a shame because it is a beautiful city that I agree has gone down the tubes as far as cleanliness in general. It seems like they stopped caring. And the same thing happened in New York too. I guess we should see who the politicians are right now and throw those motherfuckers out. Echarles a la calle, get out of here, man. All right. Well, excellent job, my amigos, in our homophone section. We also said Monse nailed today's Say What soundbite. So I think we're going to move on to another section we call Name That Movie. Name
That Movie.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. And as always, this is a part of the show where I give you a little clip from a movie. We listen to a little synopsis of the movie, and we see if you guys can figure out today's movie. I'm going to give you a little clue to get us started. Here's your synopsis. To everyone's surprise, including his own, Poe, an overweight, clumsy panda, is chosen as protector of the Valley of Peace. His suitability will soon be tested as the valley's arch enemy is on his way. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, there we go, amigos. So, to everyone's surprise, nadie se lo esperaba. To everyone's surprise, including his own, incluso él no se lo esperaba, including his own, su propia, Poe, it's the character's name, and overweight, con sobrepeso, overweight, he weighs too much. An overweight, clumsy is torpe. But I know you guys use this word in another way in Spanish too. You say torpe, oh, soy torpe, se me olvidan las cosas. That would be absent-minded. So there's two kind of torpes here. There's clumsy, like, oh, I'm always dropping things. Siempre físicamente torpe. Y torpe de mente, se te olvidan las cosas. Oh, yeah, es verdad, te dije eso. I totally forgot. That's tu mente, no estás en tu mente. Estás absent-minded, okay? I think this character is both. So an overweight, clumsy panda is chosen. Choose, chose, chosen. Difícil está porque he oído todo el mundo decir chosen. Y no es chosen. Acuérdate de esto. La primera es choose, los demás en o. Choose, chose, chosen. O sea, la tercera columna es la segunda con una N de más. It's a good way to remember it. El único que es U es la primera. Choose, chose, chosen. Right? And he is chosen, elegido. The chosen one is el elegido. As protector. Same word, just pronounced differently. Protector. No es protector. Of the valley. Esta sí que he oído la gente pronunciar mal. Valley o valley? Valley. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left because I've been blasted and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. There we go, without the beat too. The Valley of Peace, el Valle de la Paz. His suitability, and this is an interesting word because if you are suited, right, or you're a suitable candidate, it is apto. So suitability is pertinencia, aptitud, idoneidad. If you're suitable, again, you're appropriate for something. He's suitable for this position, right? Me encanta la frase también, suit yourself, tú mismo, suit yourself, right? And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a winner. Please give it up for Chris Valrol. So his suitability, su aptitud, will soon be tested, puesto a prueba, as the valley's arch enemy. Okay, and an arch enemy is un enemigo eterno, right? Your arch enemy, Barça, Real Madrid, right? The clásico, Argentina, England, right? So his arch enemy is on his way. Está de camino. The movie is Kung Fu Panda. That's right, Kung Fu Panda. I like these movies. I think they're pretty funny. Let's take a look at the scene here. Now, here's an interesting thing. The animators, the people who animated this movie, the animators took a 6-hour Kung Fu class. Now, eso es largo, eh? I would have been exhausted. A 6-hour Kung Fu class just to get an idea of how the characters moved. So if they were able to figure out the Kung Fu movements, then they could recreate them, right? Now, how long do you think it took to make a kind of movie like this? 4 years. 4 years. Some movies are made in a few months. Some movies are made in a few years. 4 years. And it's got a stellar cast. Estelar. You say the same thing, a stellar cast. This is the original one that came out in 2008. Now, you know, there are follow-ups, but it has 2 directors. I didn't know that. So, wow, yeah, 4 years to make, 2 directors. You've got Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, and so many other really talented actors in the movie, or voice actors. Well, they're both. They're actors and voice actors. And it came out, as I said, in 2008. What else? Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman was in the movie as well, his voice. And in his contract, he had a stipulation, or it stipulated, estipuló, sin e delante en inglés. There was a stipulation that allowed him to do additional voice recording. So if he wanted to re-record, because he's like, you know, I didn't like that one, he would have the final say, la última palabra. We say the final say. And of course, since he's a huge, people, when you're a good actor and you've proved it time and time again, you can ask for stuff like that. Now, they don't just give that to anybody. So, nobody would say, oh, no, we can't re-record that. He had the final say, and he did. He whenever he was unsatisfied with something, he was, I'm going to re-record that over there. And he also worked with Jack Black on his performance because, well, Jack Black's a talented actor, obviously, but Dustin Hoffman is Dustin Hoffman. You don't get too many Dustin Hoffmans in the world, right? Excellent, tremendous actor. All right, let's take a look at the scene in question. Uguay, the character Uguay, I love the names in this movie. He says, my friend, the panda will never fulfill his destiny. Okay, mi amigo, el panda nunca cumplirá, to fulfill his destiny. You can say somebody's destiny or somebody's fate. Si hablamos de destino en un avión, we're talking about somebody's destination, right? So a little bit different. It's the same word, though. Nor you yours, ni tú la tuya, until you let go of the illusion of control. And I think you know let go from let it go. To let go of, soltar, no intentas controlarlo. To let go of the illusion of control, la ilusión de que hay algo controlándote, o que tú tienes que controlarlo. And Schiff says, illusion? What do you mean, illusion? Remember this word if you're a Guns N' Roses fan. Use your illusion 1 and 2, right? And then Uguay says, yes. And then he points at a peach tree. A peach tree. Well, a peach is un melocotón, so a peach tree is a tree that produces peaches. Let's see if here's a little trivia question for you guys. What state in the United States is famous for peaches? Let's see if you know that one. Little USA trivia question. What state is famous for its peaches? Then Uguay says, look at this tree, Shifu. Look at this tree. I cannot make it blossom when it suits me. And to blossom, I think you guys know blossom. There was a TV show, but blossom is florecer. I cannot make it blossom when it suits me. Cuando es apto para mí. We just looked at that word, suitable, to suit somebody. When it suits me, nor make it bear fruit. And to bear in this case is to produce, nor make it bear fruit before its time. Like I can't rush it, is what he's saying. No puedo meterle prisa, right? And then Shifu says, but there are things we can control. Pero sí que hay cosas que podemos controlar. And then the stage direction says he kicks the tree, le da una patada, so that the peaches fall. The peaches fall to the ground, and he says, I can control when the fruit will fall, right? Puedo controlar cuando caerá. Remember, fall, fell, fallen, feel, felt, felt. A lot of students mix those two verbs up. Don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. And then he slices. This is an interesting word because I know you know the word cut. I know you know, everybody knows the word cut. To slice is to make un corte más fino. A slice of pizza, a slice of ham, right? A slice. I always think of a really smaller piece, right? A small cut. And so he slices a peach and throws the pit. Now, we were saying the seed before. The seeds are usually the small ones. But when when they have a bigger one that's called a pit. So a peach has a pit. Which other ones have pits? An avocado has a pit. Those big ones are pits there. Okay. And where are we? So he says, he slices the peach, and throws the pit to the ground. And he says, I can control where to plant the seed. We know the word seed. We just looked at it. He says, that is no illusion, master. Esto no es ilusión, maestro. And Uguay says, ah, yes. But no matter what you do, hagas lo que hagas. Good structure to know. No matter what you do, that seed will grow to be a peach tree. Crecerá un día, and it'll be a peach tree. We looked at the word seed before. You may wish for an apple or an orange, but you will get a peach. So he's saying, yeah, you can control that a tree might grow there. But if no matter how much you wish for that to be an apple, it's never going to be an apple, right? In fact, it reminds me of an expression we have in English. That's apples and oranges. And this means estamos comparando dos cosas que no hay que comparar. When people ask me, do you prefer New York or Madrid? You know what I say? Apples and oranges. No se pueden comparar. They're very, very different cities, In fact, I've learned to stop trying to compare things that are not the same and see them each as their own unique entity, right? So then he says, but a peach cannot defeat Tai Lung. Pero un melocotón no puede vencer a Tai Lung. And then Ogwe says, folding dirt over the peach pit. Está poniendo tierra encima. He says, maybe it can if you are willing to guide it, to nurture it, to believe in it. Hey, that's good advice for your English. And to nurture, this is a great word. We talk about this when we talk about psychology. We talk about the idea of nature versus nurture. So nurture, ¿cómo estás criado? ¿Cómo estás educado? And nature, it means we are the way we are because of the way we were brought up. That's nurture, the way we were nurtured. And nature is because it's second nature. And you know what the truth is? It's both. It's always a mix of both. We're a product of our environment, but also we're a product of, well, think about it. Nature's our environment. It's what we are inside. It's everything. And nurture is our environment too. So you can sum that up by saying we are affected by our environment. So I don't know if you guys have seen the movie, very funny movies. And I think they're pretty easy to follow along with because, there are some inside jokes, some puns, but that's great. You got to see how many of them you can catch. Let's see if you guys knew what today's, I just threw a little trivia question at you. What state is famous for its peaches? Let's see. Diego says, Alabama. Diego, ahí no me demuestras que tú sabes construir frases. Me demuestras que sabes deletrear la palabra Alabama. Está bien, pero I want to see you make a sentence in English, right? A question, Let's see. Como estamos en clase de inglés, yo qué sé. Es como si digo, ¿cuántos estados hay? Si tú solo me pones 5-0, ¿has hecho algo? Did you, in English, digo? No. You're not kidding me. So you got the whole point. Let me remind you guys of why I tell you to use full sentences is if not, we're not practicing anything, right? Okay, we're having fun. Maybe we're not practicing how to come up with a question in English, right? Born to Iron Man says, is Illinois the pizza's famous U.S. state? I don't understand. So is Illinois famous for its pizza? Is that what you're asking? Born to Iron Man? As far as I know, no. And when people think of pizza in the United States, we think of New York. Unless you're talking about deep dish pizza, then we're thinking about Chicago. But if you ask me, I don't consider that pizza. It's very different to what we know as pizza. So I don't know. Is it called? I didn't know. I thought Illinois was famous for its cattle, su vacuno. I'm not too sure. The Chicago Bulls, right? The Bears. You got to look at the sports teams. They'll tell you what the states are famous for, right? Let's see. Lupe says, I think is Georgia. Well, cuidado. Primero es correcto, pero te faltaría decir, I think it's Georgia. Excellent job, Lupe. You are on fire today. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Well, a nice round of applause for all of you. Yeah, Georgia is the Peach State. Folks, we have to go to a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with the fourth and final part of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, after today's show, you got Jules Linares and Let's Get Random, followed by Rob and Andy and the Lunchtime Show. Don't forget Back to Basics with Tosh Pasqua, The Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez. And after that, we've got Western Civilizations with Guy Williams, followed by The Salad with Dave Boys. Don't forget about Drive Time and Speaking Football. The way you can make sure you never miss a beat, que no te pierdes ni una, is by following along on our Vaughn Radio app, and you'll always have English streaming on there, whether there's whether there's a live show or not. As I told you, next Tuesday and Thursday, I won't be doing a live show. But guess what? We're going to be able to have content because I've done so many shows that they'll just put on a repeat. Now, what does that mean? you can still learn from those shows. But remember, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're rocking and rolling next week. So I don't know about the rest of you. Some of you might have the whole week off. Some of you may not. All right, well, we need to keep moving along here with today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, this is a translation where you have to use the same word twice. So I think this one's going to be pretty easy. I could be wrong, but this one's, let's put it this way. This one's a gift. Poco un regalo. Christmas. Consider it an early Christmas gift. Oh, and if you're looking for early Christmas gifts, go on over to Von Tienda. You can pick up any one of my 4 books, including the new re-released This Book is the Milk 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live from the funeral.
Señoras y señores, nos dirigimos a ustedes desde el funeral real.
What a sad day it is, for this book is the remilk.
Es un día triste para This Book is the Remilk.
It is a book that was loved by many and will be missed by all.
Es un libro que fue adorado por muchos y será extrañado por aún más.
But don't fret, no, don't worry,
Pero no se preocupen,
because the remilk will be reborn
porque This Book is the Remilk volverá a nacer
with a new name, a new cover, and brand new audio.
con un nuevo nombre, una nueva portada y ahora con audio.
It's called This Book is the Milk 2.
Se llama This Book is the Milk 2
And it will usher in a new age.
y nos adentrará en una nueva era.
All hail! This Book is the Milk 2, the new leader.
¡Viva This Book is the Milk 2, el nuevo rey!
Long live! This Book is the Milk 2.
¡Larga vida al nuevo rey! This Book is the Milk 2.
That's right, amigos. It's This Book is the Milk 2, available at Von Tienda. If you're looking for some last minute, well, not last minute yet, but if you keep putting it off, it's going to be last minute. Go on over to vontienda.com. Get all your Christmas shopping done. Remember, another thing you can do too is not just physical materials, but you can give somebody a course or maybe, our online course. It's a great idea. And remember, every Saturday you got our Disney Vaughn collection as well, which could be a good gift to the whole thing. The only thing is we won't have the whole collection until the end of January. There are 20. I went over them. I think I've gone over them in the past. 20 different books that are coming out in our Disney Vaughn collection. I've participated in many of them, and we're very proud. I speak on behalf of, en nombre de Ximena and her whole department. We're very, very proud of it. And Disney as well. They're very proud of this collection that we've put together. All right, my amigos, let's get rocking. We've got to do today's Double Trouble. All right, so here we go. Compró rúcula. No hay que ser genio o estudiar carrera. Right? O sea, compró rúcula. Es una no pregunto. Compró rúcula. No hay que ser genio o estudiar una carrera. Right? No es algo muy difícil, ¿no? Is the translation, really. So that's the idea behind it. But when I looked it up, it said, no hay que estudiar carrera, no hay que ser un genio. I guess that would be an idiomatic way to say it, right? So, él o ella, whoever, compró rúcula. No hay que ser genio o estudiar una carrera. That's today's Double Trouble. I've also got to give you guys today's Say What soundbite. We already have a winner, but let's see if anybody else can join Monse. Here it is for the fourth time.
I just care about people and the way they have to dress. I think there is a part of education in my work. You have to understand, to believe, and to communicate to the people what you think, what is your philosophy.
All right. There you go, folks. That was the fourth listen of today's Say What soundbite. We'll take a look at who that is and all that jazz in a little bit. Let's go on over to our chat room, our virtual classroom. Nihad says, thank you very much, wonderful Alberto. Yesterday, I was able to speak to a native Englishman without hesitation. Oh, that's beautiful, folks. Let's give him a nice, that's awesome. That's the reward. No un examen. Poder comunicarte y estar cómodo. So yesterday I was able to speak to a native Englishman without hesitation. Thank you again for being so demanding and making my English better every single day. Hey, thank you so much, Nihad. That's wonderful news. And I'm glad. I'm so glad that that you guys are feeling comfortable. That again, better than saqué un ocho en el examen. That's nice. That's cool. But when you tell me I went to a restaurant and a bar, or I was out and I was able to get by and I didn't feel uncomfortable, that is the ultimate reward. Y cuidado, no decimos ultimate, sino ultimate. The ultimate reward. All right, let's take a look and see if anybody has figured out today's double trouble. Compró rúcula. No hay que ser genio, estudiar una carrera. So let's see. The first person to participate is Elena. And Elena says, he want her. All right. Elena, I'm going to give you an applause because like you got the idea, but you mixed up the words a little bit, guys. See, there are two kinds of mistakes here. There are two kinds of mistakes. There are mistakes that you make because you tried. And there are mistakes you made because you were lazy, right? Just know that I know the difference, okay? We have mistakes that happen because, a ver si lo digo bien. And there are mistakes, I don't, da igual. And usually your teacher knows which is which. All right, so we're going to work on this because you're giving us something to work with here, Elena. Elena says he bought some rocket, okay? He bought some rocket. Now, this is very interesting because we don't call it rocket in the United States. This is specifically a British thing, okay? In the States, we call it arugula. Yeah, arugula, like you guys. Arugula, te ponemos la entonación en el mismo sitio. But the British, they call it rocket. Yo me acuerdo la primera vez que oí un amigo, I'm going to have some rocket, mate. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Some rocket? What are you on about, man? Holy cow. Rocket. So, let's see if anybody else over here. Elena, he said Monse was, Monse, I didn't see your comment. Yes. Okay. Monse, I didn't see your comment. Thanks for pointing that out, guys. Remember, there's one of me and a lot of you. So sometimes I get overwhelmed with a lot. That's why I also say, like, if you guys are going to participate in the chat, I love that you communicate with each other, but if there are a lot of like, hey, Paco, good morning. Hey, what's up? Then sometimes some of the comments can get lost in there. So it's, I want you to participate as much as possible, but also be aware that if the more comments there are, well, the more comments I have to sift through. So sorry about that, Monte, but let's put it this way. I don't have favorites. Like if, I'm never going to ignore somebody's comments. So Monse says he or she bought some rocket. Well, Monse, in fact, it's perfect. You nailed it. Rocket. Because the second part's perfect. So again, in my country, we don't call it rocket. I'm pretty sure most people don't know that the British call it rocket. When I found out, my mind was totally blown. I didn't expect it at all. It was mind-blowing. I'm like, rocket? What the hell are you talking about? I'm thinking cohete over there. Of course, that's what I know is rocket, right? So we call it arugula. Arugula. Bastante difícil, ¿eh? Más fácil que rocket. Yo no sé qué han pensado esta peña con lo de rocket. So he bought some rocket. It isn't rocket science. And this means no es tan difícil, right? It isn't rocket science. Like I'm thinking, here's a perfect example. When you get on a plane and you get the safety lecture and they teach you how to put on the seatbelt, te enseñan cómo poner un cinturón, and you're like, okay, I understand you have to go through the protocol, but it's not exactly rocket science. So you have two ways that you can say it. It isn't rocket science, or it's not rocket science, or you don't have to be a rocket scientist. So lo que hiciste ahí, who was it? Elena was mix them. You don't need to be a rocket scientist, tendrías que decir en el tuyo. Because Elena said, he bought some rocket. You don't need to be a rocket scientist, or it isn't rocket science. Another way to say this is, it isn't brain surgery. No es operar al cerebro aquí. It means it's something that anybody can figure out. It means it's even self-explanatory, right? So, of course, this is a British double trouble today. Yes, it is. It's a very British double trouble. He bought some rocket. It isn't rocket science. All right, guys, it's time to move on to your joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
That's right, amigos. That's right. You're joking only on the show with no name. And I've got a couple jokes lined up for you. I know what you're thinking. What? One is enough. Hey, be nice to me. Be nice to me. Let me do I've always wanted to be a comedian. I never had the guts. Yeah, because the thing is, I like telling jokes, but I don't want to feel like somebody's sitting there like, make me laugh, funny man. You know what I mean? Like, so that's my biggest problem, why I never, because some people say, dude, you would be a good, because, you could tell stories, anecdotes, make them funny, do voices. And I always think, yeah, but I don't want people sitting there like, this guy's not funny. I guess it's part of being a comedian. You're constantly being judged. But I got enough of that at home. When I'm making jokes here, I'm trying to come up with jokes. My wife just needs to walk around with this sound effect. I mean, what she does is rolls her eyes like, oh, God, seriously? Here we go again. Well, these jokes here on the show with no name are designed specifically to help you with your English. Why was the star arrested? Why was the star arrested? Now, star can be protagonista, pero también puede ser la estrella. Well, we'll know by the punchline, la parte graciosa, air quotes, en paréntesis. Why was the star arrested? Now, you can say detained. Detenido. Sound familiar? Why was the star arrested or detained? Well, it was a shooting star. It was a shooting star. Nope. Nobody. Anybody? It was a shooting star. No. Can anybody explain it? No. All right. Well, listen. Hey, a shooting star. I know we've looked at this before. You guys know I'm pretty obsessed with the idea of space and aviation, o como lo llaman, las dos cosas juntas, se llama aerospace, right? Aerospace. So why was the star arrested? It was a shooting star. All right, well, a shooting star is una estrella fugaz, you say in Spanish. Think about it. It shoots across the sky. It's called a shooting star. But also, a shooting star es una estrella que dispara. So do you get it? A shooting star? Why was he arrested? He was a shooting star. Estaba disparando. Okay. All right, guys. I'll tell you what. You know what? We've got to be in we're joking around here, but let's be serious. No? Serious? Does that sound familiar to you guys? Let's be serious. No? Oh, by the way, antes de terminar lo de shooting star, cuando queremos decir fugaz como adjetivo, we wouldn't say it's shooting, we would say fleeting. Beauty is fleeting, right? Life is fleeting. It's a fleeting moment. Esa palabra es fleeting. Pero shooting star es estrella fugaz. Pero fugaz como adjetivo sería fleeting, okay? So, let's be serious. It's a homophone. Sirius, Lupe, you got it. Sirius is a star, right? Sirio, I think you say. Sirius, pues se pronuncia Sirius. Aunque no lleva la O, se pronuncia igual que serio. Let's be serious. All right. Last one. The third time's a charm. A la tercera va la vencida. What is an astronaut's favorite drink? Gravity. No? Gravity? Gravity? Gravedad? Gravity? Okay, and well, now you know. Now it's confirmed. Now you guys know why I'll never be a stand-up comedian. But hey, at least you learned some English with my jokes. And if I got you to chuckle, well, that's great too. But right now, it's time to celebrate in today's famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. It is time for, you know it, my amigos, one of my favorite sections. Well, because this section kind of brings it all together. Yeah, well, a lot of times it has something to do with Name That Lyric. Usually it's connected to the movie. So this section is where we put a lot of the pieces together, the pieces of our puzzle. All right, let's take a look over here. The first person was born in 1960. His last name is Salvaje. Yeah. And it's not wild. Hay otra forma de decirlo. Now, he is known for being the bass guitarist, el bajista, and one of the founding members of Def Leppard. Are you serious? I freaking love Def Leppard. I mean, hysteria. When you're near, oh, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Better believe it. It's a miracle. Hysteria. And they always played with words. They have a song called Rocket. You know the word rocket. We just looked at it. It has that double meaning. Rocket, cohete, rocket. Yeah, rocket, roquealo. So they're playing with that. They have another song, Armageddon It. Armageddon es la última batalla de la Biblia, si no me equivoco. But the Armageddon It, lo estoy pillando. Armageddon It. Are you getting it? Armageddon It. They love playing with words. If you like Def Leppard and that 80s rock, I love them. And I just found out I'm going to get tickets. In fact, anybody want to get me a Christmas present or a late birthday present? Anybody feel like going with me? Yeah, quien se apunta? Def Leppard and Motley Crue. I haven't gotten tickets yet. Write me a DM. I'm serious. Def Leppard and Motley Crue World Tour. They're going to be in Madrid. When's the date here? The date in Madrid. Oh, my goodness, guys. El 24 del 6, June 24th. Oh, man. Anybody coming? I'm definitely going. I found out yesterday, and I haven't gotten tickets yet, but I love Def Leppard. You probably know Pour some sugar on me. In the name of love, pour some sugar on me. I'm hot, sticky sweet, from my head to my feet, yeah. And then next up, we've got an actress who was born in 1968. She is Korean, of Korean descent, but she was born in the United States. She was in the show Ally McBeal. She played Ling Woo. She got very famous, too, in the Charlie's Angels movies. She was in Kill Bill Volume 1. She was in Payback. She was in Kung Fu Panda. Today's Name That Movie. Last but not least, an Italian fashion designer born in 1946. I can't tell you the name of his brand because it's his last name. He died in 1997. He was killed by a really crazy person in 1997, murdered in front of his house in Miami Beach. So pretty insane. I remember that on the news too. I remember that in the news cycle, and I was like, what? All right, we've got a winner. Please give it up for your classmate, Chris Valrol. Number 1, Rick Savage from Def Leppard. Number 2, Lucy Liu. And number 3, Gianni Versace. And let's take a look. This is Gianni Versace in our Say What soundbite. He's saying, I just care about people. Solo me importa la gente. And the way they have to dress, su forma en que vestirse. He says, I think there is a part of education. He says education, but remember, we pronounce it education. He was a wonderful communicator. But of course, I'm just doing my job. Education in my work. He says, maybe to understand, comprender, believe, to communicate. Ojo, él dice communicate is communicate to the people what you think. What is your philosophy? Aquí sería what your philosophy is, pero bueno, yo te lo digo porque sois alumnos. But again, this guy communicates perfectly. This is Gianni Versace.
I just care about people and the way they have to dress. I think there is a part of education in my work. You have to understand, to believe, and to communicate to the people what you think, what is your philosophy.
All right, folks, and we're going to wrap up with today's Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric, and I'm going to give it to you because we only have about 2 minutes. So by the time I say goodbye and thank you, which thank you, guys. Excellent job today. Excellent job. I'll see you next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You've got amazing programs all afternoon here on Vaughn Radio. Remember, download our app, and you'll never, ever miss a beat. You won't miss a program. Thank you. Keep up the wonderful work. This is Def Leppard, Armageddon It. Again, they're playing with words. Armageddon it. Lo estoy pillando. Armageddon it. And he goes, you better come inside when you're ready. Now, I think this has a sexual innuendo. You better come. Puedes entrar cuando estás lista, or come inside when you're ready. No voy a entrar en detalle, but come has the same secondary meaning, venirse. So, yeah. Okay. But no chance if you don't want to dance. Pero no hay oportunidad si no quieres bailar. You like 4-letter words. Te gustan las palabras, las palabrotas, I should say. You like 4-letter words when you're ready to. But then you won't because you know that you can, pero luego no lo haces porque sabes que puedes. But then you won't, but you got it. Lo tienes. But are you getting it? I'm getting it. Are you getting it? Yes, I'm getting it. Thank you so much, folks. I know you're getting it here on the show with no name, and you've been getting it every day. I'll see you soon, my amigos. Wonderful job. Ciao for now.